So, Jay, this morning you sent us a press release. I did not see this coming at all. I should have, though.
You didn't?
I did not see this come. Not exactly. Not in this way. And that is star running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Leonard Fournette, was effectively released by Jacksonville after 3 seasons and coming off of a season where he had, I believe, over 1,500 total yards. And apparently it was because they couldn't find any trade partners. And this is a day after they traded Yannick Ngakoue, like we talked about earlier, their best defensive end. Now that Calais Campbell is also gone, traded him to the Minnesota Vikings. Yannick
Campbell, good Lord.
Right. So with Leonard Fournette, still, he couldn't be more than 26 years old, probably, I think.
Yep.
What do you think is the best landing spot for his services, given that he still is one of the better running backs in the NFL?
You have 3 places that you believe are good.
And I have 2 dark horses, yes.
Okay, and 2 dark
horses. Or at least 3
horses.
places that have the vacancy who could utilize him since he's better than what they have.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 places I believe would find a way to try to get him and receive him in open arms and actually do some things.
Okay.
The Patriots, of course, Bill Belichick loves a bargain.
Yes.
And right now, this dude is a bargain sell. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who could use a running back, and he's already in Florida. Why in the heck would you not go to Tampa Bay?
No state tax.
Just no state tax.
Just keep that
you
going.
Enjoy the no state tax, right?
Right.
Just stay and go. Last place, I don't know how this would work, but it would be Washington to do it. It would be Washington.
Okay.
They just lost guys.
Yes,
So
they did.
you kind of need to give Adrian Peterson a load partner.
A load manager.
Right. And then so Leonard Fournette, that gets an opportunity to build himself up to where in a year or 2, he completely takes the mantle as they get rid of the transition out of Adrian Peterson. So that's the 3 that I think make the most sense right now, even looking over the landscape. Seattle will be a dark horse. I can see the Seahawks jumping into it because they could use another running back. And I think that's really it. That's like it in my mind. What you got?
Okay. So Washington, that was at the top of my list as far as the teams who could best utilize his services, given their running back situation.
Yep.
So I agree with a lot of what you said. Miami is another one. They have Jordan Howard and Matt Breida as their starting running backs currently, but he's better than both of them. And, I mean, if you're going to put Tua in there at some point this season, you want a guy like that. Running backs like that protect young quarterbacks.
They do.
You know, so this team is on the rise, I think, with the defense, with the coaching, with Devontae Parker at the wide receiver position. So this would just give this team a little extra pop. They really have to start thinking about whether or not they can truly win this division if you get a running back like Leonard Fournette, and he'd be staying in Florida, like you said.
In Florida.
Lastly, the Chicago Bears, only because they lost David Montgomery, their starting running back.
They did
2
just
to 4
lose
weeks.
him.
Yeah,
Yes.
2 to 4 weeks could be longer than that because you know how those growing injuries can be,
Yep.
how they can linger. Dark
Soft
horse
tissue.
Yes, soft tissue. Dark horse wise, the Bucks. Like I said, because I know Ronald Jones II is a good player, but putting Leonard Fournette in there with Brady, with Gronk, with O.J. Howard, with those receivers, like that'd be unfair. It already is unfair because you put Brady with these receivers, and you got to be excited about this. But to get Leonard Fournette, like you said, allowing him to stay in Florida, they have to take a strong look at that. Yep. And the only other dark horse candidate I can think of was the L.A. Rams, having gotten rid of Todd Gurley. The running backs that they have are unproven. They drafted Cam Akers out of Florida, got a lot of Florida connections, out of Florida State, but he's a rookie. You don't know exactly what he's going to be.
Right.
So you would have to take a proven commodity over an unproven one, especially if you can do it at a cheap price, which he probably will come at a cheap price. So that's what I think. So dark horse, Bucks and Rams, but who could best utilize his services, Washington, Miami, and Chicago.
I like that. I like that.
Now, just if you had to pick one, where do you think he goes?
If I have to pick one place for him to go, I'm going to say Tampa Bay.
So am I.
Stay in Florida. You got Tom Brady.
What do you lose?
Like there's no loss in that whatsoever.
No. And you get to win. You got to experience what winning can truly feel like. What, your second season or your first season? I think it was.
Yeah, they almost went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They were a quarterback
got beat
away.
by Brady and the Patriots.
Yep, they were a quarterback away from winning because they was actually leading in that game.
I mean,
and then got demolished.
No chance you face 8 in the box. Hell, you can't even put 7 in the box with those receivers that they have. So it's running lanes
and
all over the place.
And yes, exactly. Our team is set up perfectly for a running back to show up, and that's the one thing I was hoping. We drafted a decent running back, but that's the one piece that we have desperately needed is a running back.
Talking about Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think Vaughn's going to be solid, but that's the one piece that we were missing going into this season as an actual running back to take over. Now this is a full-fledged indictment on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and now I feel really bad for Mustache Minshew. because at this point they have just put us on notice that they are tanking for
Trevor.
Lawrence.
Tanking for Trevor.
They're tanking for Trevor.
Yep.
And it's funny how these Jacksonville fans I've seen on the interwebs really think that Minshew is the future of their team. They're literally getting rid of every single weapon that they have on offense and defense to the point of they are a skeleton crew of players that will try to compete in the AFC and have zero chance of competing.
They're going to be fun to watch because they're going to have to throw the ball 60 times a game. And, Minshew, he's one of those sort of rogue maverick quarterbacks who tries to extend the play, make the throw that he shouldn't make. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So they're going to be fun as hell to watch. They're going to be down in most of their games. So they're going to just be throwing all over the place.
They're going to be down in all their games. They're going to go between Gardner Minshew and Mike Glennon as their quarterbacks.
The fighting Mike Glennon.
And Raquel Armstead,
yes.
Chris Thompson, who came from Washington, and I have no clue who the other two guys are. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm curious to how this is going to work for them now that they actually don't have a star running back. Literally, their defense is sitting with Josh Allen.
Yes, that's it.
Because they got rid
of Bouye is a Denver Bronco now.
Yep.
Jalen Ramsey became a Ram middle of last season. Telvin Smith did not play last season. He opted out for personal reasons. Yep. Jesus Christ.
I'm curious to
1-15, 2-14.
Yep. And so D.D. Westbrook gets to suffer through that with Tyler Eifert.
Yeah.
That's going to be beautiful. So, okay.